On today's Alabama Football Report, some spring injury news, A 5-star quarterback set to return for the Crimson Tide, and discussion on the possible quarterback 2 battle. Oh, by the way, basketball-wise, Sweet 16 game tonight against North Carolina. If you want Alabama to take down UNC, spam RTR in the comments section to support the Crimson Tide. We begin with the news on Jalen Hale, a lower leg injury at practice on Tuesday per a couple different reports out there. Severity, details certainly not yet known. The one thing we do know is that ambulance and then hospital trip was called and then taken by Jalen Hale. Typically, not always the case, but normally when you see the ambulance hospital thing come around, that normally means something was broken as opposed to a tear, or at least there was a break. That always opens the possibility, like if it's a kneecap or something, or ligament damage along with a break, whatever. That's normally how that tends to go, but not good. However you slice it, hopefully not a severe one, whatever that injury is for Hale. So what is your concern level over the Jalen Hale leg injury? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments section. Not knowing a lot about the injury, 6? Maybe higher even? It's only one player. It's not the quarterback, but he is an important part in the wide receiver room, the overhauled, revamped, very different looking wide receiver room for 2024. There were several guys, I'm like, that guy could be wide receiver 1. That guy could be wide receiver 1. Jalen Hale was in that conversation. The season is still many months away, so depending on what the injury is, there's even a chance that he's back in time for football at some point this year. If it's bad, then, that's a really, really bad sign. If you have to have an injury, you'd rather have it be in March than have it be in August, but you'd rather not have the injury, period. The leading returning receiving room is thin for Alabama. Kobe Prentice is there, Kendrick Law. Obviously, Hale had made a couple big splash plays previously. They brought in Jeremy Bernard as a transfer from Washington, and given his experience, knowledge of the offense, you would bet that he'd be wide receiver 1. There are other depth pieces on this team, including a guy who has dealt with injuries in the past. It's Emmanuel Henderson. Here's what Coach DeMarcus Shepard said on Henderson. That boy can run. The ability to drop his weight and get in and out of breaks has immensely improved. He has been everything I've wanted him to be. By the way, quick aside here, Henderson as a back. I saw like a viral thread of like, what's someone that someone says that means that they don't know ball? And someone responded with getting in and out of breaks. Guess what he had in his bio? It's fantasy. Anyway, Henderson has battled a hip injury all of 2023. The running back turned receiver could be a very promising breakout candidate for the Crimson Tide. There's a lot of guys in that wide receiver room who are like, I need 1 or 2 of these players to break out and have a big-time season. The Hale injury, although troubling, could open the door for a bigger role for Henderson. So will he be a top 3 receiver for Alabama in 2024? I know producer Chris says yes. He's a big fan of his game. Do you agree? Y for yes, N for no at the pinned comment of this video. If an ad plays, just ignore it. Go vote instead, Y or N. Now, Alabama is set to have their first spring scrimmage of the spring, of course, with no media set to be in attendance. They'll be available afterwards. 5-star quarterback Julian Lewis, again, in attendance for the Crimson Tide. The 5-star recruit in the class of 2025, the number 9 overall recruit, committed to USC at the moment, is still showing pretty heavy interest in potentially trying to find a way to flip him out of USC. That is clearly, look, at this point, commitments are commitments. Kids change around all the time. This is not a hard commitment to me. This is a soft commitment where there are other schools in the mix here beyond the Trojans, including Georgia, his home state, Colorado with Deion Sanders got to find a new quarterback next year once Shedeur goes off to the NFL in theory. Alabama, Auburn should be throwing NIL money around at a quarterback. They don't have one right now. So it's very clear Lewis has interest in exploring other options. My bold prediction here is that he doesn't end up signing with USC. That he goes somewhere else And Lincoln Riley is kind of in a weird spot at USC. That offense was terrible last year. It was a bad offense, by the way, despite the heroic efforts of Caleb Williams, the future number 1 overall pick. I'm not saying it ends up being Alabama. Who knows where it ends up being. I think there is a good chance that he ends up flipping somewhere else, as many 5-star kids often end up doing. So where do you think 5-star quarterback Julian Lewis signs? If you want to hype up Alabama, of course, feel free to do so. Get those answers in for me in the comment section right now. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for tickets to your next sporting event. That could be a Braves game. It could be Alabama football tickets. It could be Bama baseball tickets. Those ones tend to be a little bit cheaper than some of the football tickets can tend to go for. You wait a couple weeks, get beyond opening day. Baseball tickets will be a little bit more affordable, even though the Braves are going to be really good again this year. Well, and that's not just limited to sports, by the way. Concerts, comedy, theater, they've got you covered. They're also giving you $20 off your first purchase. Use promo code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, when you download the app at GameTime.co and create your profile to get $20 off your first purchase. You can find a little bit maybe Wisconsin, the road is going to be an expensive one there, but maybe you don't want to pay for the Georgia tickets, right? Maybe you'd rather go to one of the lesser games. Vanderbilt even could certainly make some sense. Whatever thing you want to go to, sports or more recreational stuff, Game Time has you covered. That link and the promo code will be in the comments section and description of today's show. It's GameTime.co, promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. The quarterback 1 battle doesn't exist. It's Jalen Milroe. That's who it's going to be, and obviously so. Quarterback 2, though, could be heating up. Now, this is what one source told TDA Magazine. I'm telling you right now, Milroe has made the Jalen Hurts transition. He's truly elite now. There had been no regression at any point with Milroe. He's just a different animal this year. Now, what I think we mean by the Jalen Hurts transition is showing growth every single season and not he's about to get benched for the next up-and-coming quarterback. I think that's what we're going for. Maybe more like even Oklahoma Hurts transition and just general growth as opposed to he got benched in the national championship game. But if you win, who cares? But Milroe improving doesn't surprise me. Everything we have ever heard about him is the high, hard worker attitude effort that is a very good sign. Now, other reports have Austin Mack taking the quarterback 3 snaps in the battle behind Milroe along with Ty Simpson and also Dylan Lonergan. Now, he had some buzz. Wasn't there a report at one point that it was, he's the best quarterback on the roster, which happens every year, by the way. This is kind of why, to an extent, one thing that kind of irritates me about how we operate when it comes to coaching stuff or your reports is the next guy's always the next great guy. He looked pretty good during A-Day. Don't get me wrong. But it's always this guy's good, that the next guy's even better. And then 50% chance the next guy even plays. That's kind of how it often goes there. I do still like Ty Simpson as quarterback too. Speaking of, the next guy is going to be the next great quarterback there. He is capable of winning games. He is a bit more experienced than those other players, not just in the program, but even getting actual game reps that matter. Austin Mack is only 17 years old. I would not be surprised if it's more of a longer, slow burn for him because he's a young kid. The ceiling, though, for Austin Mack, compared to a Ty Simpson, compared to a Dylan Lonergan, that one might end up being a little bit higher, and that certainly is somebody that Kalen DeBoer wanted in this program. That is somebody he wanted to have here. That should not be overlooked. Here's what Nick Sheridan said on Austin Mack. He's still in year 1. He showed up to Washington in the summer. This is his first spring practice. I see him getting better by the minute. Great kid, great family, like the rest of the guys. Like I said, I feel lucky to coach the guys in my room, and they embrace coaching. They want to do well. I'm just excited about the group. The back half was your general platitudes, So when it comes to week 1, who's the backup? Who's QB2 behind Jalen Milroe? TS for Ty Simpson, AM for Austin Mack, DL for Dylan Lonergan. We will have more spring practice coverage for you right here on the Alabama Football Report, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now.